I remember I used to procrastinate in school. So I would wait like 1 or 2 days before a project or an assignment was due, and then I would do it only whenever I felt rushed. And I only stopped that by setting artificial deadlines for myself. So I would say if I'm not done with this by Wednesday, then I have homework. Even though like deep down I knew damn well I wasn't gonna do the homework, but it was just like a consequence of me not getting it in time, even though the project was due on Friday or something. Just having that artificial deadline made me more productive because an encroaching deadline obviously makes you work harder. And then take a look at people who set New Year's resolutions. So, for example, the biggest one I hear is I want to start going to the gym, or I want to get jacked, all that. I want to lose weight. All the gyms, like across America, probably even the world, in January are packed. Like genuinely, they're filled. Like I remember driving past a local gym near me in January. The whole parking lot was filled. The whole parking. There was people like parking kind of in the side, not even in the parking lot itself, but on the side of the gym, like on the street. Like it's genuinely packed. But then what do you see next February? The very next month afterwards, you see maybe less than a quarter of the people who were there in January are staying out of the new people I'm talking about. And the reason is that they set a goal for the year, not for like not even a shorter time frame across a year. Because truthfully, I can't set a goal for a year. Like most people can't set a goal for a year without kind of slacking in the beginning. Like even now, I'm recording this in June, right? It's the 6th month of the year. New Year's Day is 6 months ahead or like 5 months ahead. I can't think that far ahead, truly. Like, I love to set big visions, grand visions, and they're all great, but in terms of goals, they're not that useful because they don't motivate you. Having a thing that's like 12 or 11 months off makes you not care. It's not close enough to actually affect you. And so, even though you'll actually achieve the goal by working in the moment, you won't actually reach the goal because it's not motivating enough to make you work in the moment. Like it's almost paradoxical, but setting a long-term goal is less motivating than setting a short-term goal. And the way to fix this is instead of thinking about goals in years, think about them in 3 months. A 12-week year. If you think about a 12-week year, right, you have 3 months, you have to work, right? Because it's an encroaching deadline. Especially if it's like bigger long-term things. If you can do something in a week, so obviously set a goal for a week. But like in terms of 12-week years, set a big goal that you want to achieve that's reasonably unreasonable. So it's like kind of unreasonable, but if you work hard enough, you probably get it, right? If you set that in the 12-week time frame, you're gonna work like you've never worked before, right? You're gonna work because you have that deadline approaching. That's why schools like they set big deadlines, right? And even though people don't really like pay attention to them, only in the last few days before something is due, people then start to stress and worry and start like working at home. It's because of the deadline. So instead of setting some artificial deadline of a year, setting it for 3 months can make it so that you're just so focused and motivated to get it done. Because even if you're like kind of think the goal is boring, right? It's only 3 months. Even if you like kind of think the goal is boring and you're only doing it just to get it over with, it's only 3 months. And after that, you can just set another goal. So it's not even like you're like making a commitment about something that you don't care about because it's only 3 months, right? It'll last. It'll eventually go away. Same thing with the year goal, but it seems so far off that you don't actually want to work on it. And so obviously I've read the book The 12-Week Year. I'm still reading it, and I set a 12-week year goal for myself, and I'm honestly working so hard on it. I'm like my main focus right now is my coaching, which I offer in the description, and honestly I'm working much harder on it because I set the 12-week year goal on it. Imagine if I set like until the end of the year. I have 6 months instead of 3 weeks. No, 3 months. I honestly wouldn't work as hard on it. And mind you, I say 12-week year. I'm not saying to count everything in 12-week years, right? I'm not saying that instead of saying like, yeah, I'm 15 years old, you shouldn't say I'm like 60 12-week years old. Like, no, no one says that. I'm talking about just in terms of only goals. Set a shorter deadline for yourself instead of a year. Divide it into 4 goals. You have 4 goals across the whole year. And I'm not talking about a quarterly like goal, like you have one big goal at the end of the year. Each 3 months, you have a new goal that you have to set for yourself. And in that 3 months, each month is almost like a quarter of the year. And I know it's a third of the year, but you know what I mean. Like in that third of the year, of that 12-week year, you work super hard on it. Like I honestly can't describe how hard I'm working. I'm literally focusing. I'm like half the day at least. I'm thinking about how I can improve these videos and my coaching, right? I'm just genuinely I'm using my whole brain to think about it because again, that deadline is approaching. And it's so much more powerful than setting some wacko year goal that you'll forget about in February. Wait, honestly, I feel so bad for the people who set a New Year's like resolution thing for the whole year because I just know they're not gonna do it, and because people are like want to do a fresh start, even though it's February and they didn't set like a New Year's resolution, they'll wait until just December or January to set a goal. Like you literally just lost 10 months of your life because you didn't want to work on it now. You want to have a fresh start next year. Like what? I honestly urge you to try a 12-week year. Set a big goal, and then for that 12-week year, set weekly goals as well. And from that weekly goal, do a daily like task for the task you have to do today. Because again, you everything you want to achieve is done right now. You just have to know what you have to do, and then you'll just achieve it. And that deadline is so powerful to have. Like honestly, I hate New Year's resolutions. I can't describe it enough to you. And obviously, I've said it before, but coaching in the description.